In this video, I'll be describing the Quipu. The Quipu is a ancient Inca accounting method, and it's really quite interesting. The Inca, I think, were very artistic people, and so I really love these Quipus because they just are so artistic and different, really, than what we think about as mathematics in today's modern world. So in any case, as you probably read about in this section already, I'm just going to review this. The Incas had three different kinds of knots they used on their quipu. There was the long knot, and in this case, we have an example of a long knot with four turns, which would represent four items. But the long knot could have it from anywhere from 2 to 9 turns, which would indicate an accounting of 2 through 9 objects, or it could be money, I suppose. And they also used a single knot, and the single knot represented either the number of tens, the number of hundreds, the number of thousands, and so on. And then we have the figure 8 knot, which to me is a very interesting knot because they had a particular knot to represent 1. And so in modern mathematics, 1 is a special number. It's the multiplicative identity. If you multiply any number by 1, you get the same number back. So I think it's kind of cool that Inca had a special knot just particularly for 1. But the other thing I find interesting is I'm not sure they really had any kind of a notation for 0, which kind of makes sense from what I understand about ancient cultures and mathematics. There was really no need to record nothing. Now the textbook, Professor Lippmann comes up with a different type of a notation. And I think he's transitioning here to something that we could create using pencil and paper. So in other words, if students were asked to do homework problems, then we really need to have some convenient way that we can write down with pencil and paper, say, something to represent a quipu. So these are the symbols that Professor Lippmann came up with, the author of our textbook. Now, there are all different ways that we could create a quipu. And in the ancient Inca world, there were people who were given the title Quipu Kamayak. And they were the keeper of the quipu. And we can think of them in a way as the ancient accountants of the Inca world. And this makes sense to me because really I can envision that each of these quipu sort of unique. And so what each of those things particularly represents, or each string on the quipus, or on the Quipu Kamayak's quipu, would have to be related to a particular person, say, or who knows what. But in any case, that memory of the person that kept the quipu would be an important part of it. I just want to do a quick example of how we would use Professor Lippmann's notation to create a quipu with pencil and paper. And so I'm just going to create a quipu where I'm representing two different quantities. In our modern base 10 number system, we would write the number 321 in this way, and we would write 235. In the Inca world, this would be recorded on a quipu as follows. We can draw a horizontal line, or actually I should say, this is the Professor Lippmann version of the quipu. So here for 321, we would use this infinity symbol on the bottom to represent this 1. We'd move up our string into the tens position and put 2 dots. And we would move up into the hundreds position and put 3 dots. Now if we were going to denote 235, there's 5 ones in this number, so I would use this symbol, the horizontal lines. And that's kind of getting messy down there. I apologize for that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, I guess, and go like this. And then for 30s, we would go 1, 2, just above that. And horizontally, I'm looking across here and seeing that this is the tens position. I guess I need one more 10 for 30. And we go up to the hundreds position and put 2 dots. So this would be a pencil and paper version of the, we might call this Professor Littman's Quipu methodology. Now I also created a Quipu, and one of your assignments is to create a Quipu just by using objects or items around your house. So the Quipu I created mimics this particular example from the textbook, that try it now too. And I can read Professor Littman's notation here and see that we have two horizontal lines here, so this would be the number 2, or 2 items representing, this would represent 2 items. And then we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, so that would be 62, and then 162, and then we're up here in the thousands, so this would be 2,162. Similarly, there are 3 dots in the tens position, so, or the hundreds position, excuse me, so this would be 300, and then we have the symbol for ones. And here's that strange kind of chord. This one I think would represent 0 or nothing. And I question whether the Incas would have denoted an empty string on their Quipu, but I really don't know the answer to that. And then finally in this last chord we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots in the tens position, so that's the 70 items. And then we go up here to the hundreds position and there are no dots. And then finally in the thousands position there are 2 dots. So this would be 2,000. What do I have here? 2, 4, 6, 7, 70. 2,070 items. Now here's a photograph of the Quipu I created. And this is an example of what I'm hoping you'll turn in for this assignment. Just a photograph saved as a PDF file that shows me what the items are and your Quipu. Now the one I'm having you do is not this one that I did. It's a different example. And then the other thing that's important though to keep in mind is, notice how I've created a legend. It's a little bit hard to see, I know, but if you actually had this photograph, you'd be able to blow that up, which is fine, and be able to read it. But basically I have these 3 different types of fishing tackle that I'm using to indicate the knots that the Inca would use. So I've asked you to create a Quipu for one of your assignments in this class, and I thought I would create one as well. So I looked around my house and I was thinking, what am I going to make this out of? And I was looking in my tackle box. I like to steelhead fish in the rivers here in Northern California. I grew up doing that on the Eel River specifically. But in any case, I was looking through my tackle box and I thought, oh, I've got some things I can use. So these are little like rubber kind of balls that we use to imitate salmon or steelhead eggs. And these are called little corkies, these little ones on the bottom. And so I have those 2 objects. And then I also have the spin glow on this other string. So what these represent, the spin glow represents a 1. These little Cleos down here on the end, these small little beads, represent ones, or a number of ones. And in the Inca Quipu, there would have been, this symbol would have represented a 2, a 3, or 4, up to a 9. And then these larger ones here, these larger balls, are representing the number of powers of 10. So for example, this particular string on my Quipu would have 2 individuals, 2 items, and then this next set is in the tens position, so there was 2, 4, 6, so there would be 60, and then in the hundreds position there's 1, so that would be 100, and then there are 2 in the thousands position. So this string would represent 2,162. And this Quipu I created is based on the Try It 2 from the textbook. Now, I think it's interesting in that try it because there's a blank or an empty string, and this would represent 0, but I'm not sure the Incas actually had 0 in their uh, perception, because there were many cultures that felt like if there was nothing, why should I represent nothing? So I'm not sure about this one. I think this is interesting. But certainly in the number system we used in modern mathematics, there are zeros. So I guess this would represent a 0. And then here on this other one, I'll show you this other string. One of the things you have to keep in mind when you're reading these Quipus is that, I'm getting it all tangled up, the position that the number of tens are in, or the number of hundreds, matters. So the way I created mine, I have the tens, the hundreds, and the thousands lined up horizontally. So this would be 300, and then the spangler on the end would be the 1, 301. So anyway, I wanted to show you this, and you can create your Quipu out of anything you want around your house. I just had some fishing gear and I thought, well, I'll make it out of that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you all create. And I'll see you in the next video.